All right, guys, so we are wrapping up day 3 of the Wealthy Trustee Workshop. Today, we went ahead and set up our faith-based organization, which is our tax exempt nonprofit. So we broke down every single paragraph of the trust so that you guys can understand the contents of the organization. After that, we went and applied for our tax exempt EIN number with the IRS. And then lastly, I showed you the steps that you need to take in order to become an ordained minister. So with that being said, what I want to do is open up the floor for Q&A so that I can answer any questions that you guys might have. So the first hand that I see is Miss Dina. Hi, Miss Dina. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Good to see you again today.
Nice to see you.
Oh, okay. The EIN, right?
Mhm.
I wanted to let you know that remember when I made my mistake on my EIN?
Yeah.
That was the one I was just panic stricken, and you told me to do the F8822. Well, I filed it, and they Monday I got a message from my iPostal, and I went and I got my form back. They let me know that they corrected the information that I asked them to correct. So thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Congratulations, my dear. I'm so glad to hear that, Miss Dina.
Yes. So for anyone that feel like you might have made a mistake, don't worry. Fill out the form and let them know they're not going to send it right back to you the next week or so, but you will get an answer back. So that is something that can work out. So
Um,
yes, that's one thing about. Here's my other question about the EIN. When I did the EIN for my LLC, I didn't have a registered agent at the time. So now my question is, should I go back and update? And when I get ready to update it and put the registered agent where my name is, because that's where I put my name there.
yeah, I'm not sure if they ask you for the registered agent or the authorized member. So I haven't done one for the LLC in a long time, so I'm not sure. I think you should call them and ask them.
Okay, but if they ask for the authorized person, is that's the place where I can put the registered agent if I have one. Is that
Uh-huh.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my question with that. Also, as far as the FBO, I just wanted to update you that I have filed for my first grant. I'm waiting to hear back. I joined a group that helps you to do grant writing, so I'm
Oh,
waiting to hear back. And also, I applied for the ordination, and I applied for the marriage officiant, and I'm also waiting for that to come back.
congratulations, Miss Dina. Oh my gosh, you have so many wins. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, yes,
That is
thank you.
phenomenal.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. I love how you're taking action with your FBO.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing, Miss Dina. We appreciate you so, so, so much, especially you just being a valued member here in the community and always sharing and in giving your resources and stuff. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Okay, take
All right, awesome. We'll head over to the next person, which is David. Hi, David.
Hello,
How are
and
you?
congratulations, Dina, on the grant. Good work, good work.
Yay!
All
Awesome.
right, way to go. I have two questions for you, ma'am.
Mhm.
The first one is in Article 12, letter I. It states taxable expenditures. The trust shall not make any taxable expenditures as defined in Section 4945D of the code. I don't really, can you enlighten me on that sentence?
Oh yeah, so that resource is in the resources tab, excuse me, inside of the program. So inside
Okay,
of the program we have a document, it's called FBO, and those are the rules for the FBO.
gotcha. Okay, and my last question is regarding the EIN. Okay, um, where do I put that into the document? I kind of lost the
Um,
place here.
no problem. Hold on one second. Let me just quickly show you. You see the certificate of trust, which is
Certificate of
page
trust.
51.
Okay,
So right here under number 6.
got it. Okay, and thank you and your staff and the community. You guys are great. Love the questions. That's it for me.
All right. Thank you, David. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Let's see who's next. Give me one second. Next we have Rich. Hi, Rich.
Hi, Christina. How are you?
Wonderful.
Great information, great education, and I'm learning a lot. Yeah,
You're welcome. My absolute pleasure. Appreciate you being here, and I'm glad that you're learning a lot.
yep. Question on the FBO. If I don't have member or board member, will that hinder the tax exemption?
Yeah, you have to operate it the right way. So if you don't have any board members, you're not operating it the right way, which means that you're not operating an FBO.
Uh, how do I get members?
We have resources available, so you should have received an email, and if you haven't, then you should be receiving it like in the next upcoming days with the volunteer list that we have. And so in our community, we have over 1,000 trustees, and a lot of them have volunteered to be a member for you.
Oh, awesome.
You can also volunteer to be a member for them.
Oh, great, great. All
Yes,
right.
so you can still establish the FBO. You can establish it now, and then you just appoint your members. So there's no time frame of when the members have to be appointed, but I would just tell you sooner rather than later.
Okay. And also on that list, will I be able to get like board members?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, I was thinking only just a member of the FBO. So both.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about board of directors. You're talking about
Both.
members of your association,
Yeah,
members
both.
of your organization.
Yeah, and also the board members.
Oh, okay. So if you want to have, okay, so I answered your question about the board. So as far as members of your organization, that is up to you and how you operate your organization and if people want to be a part of your organization.
Uh, if I don't get to have members, how would that
Oh,
would
that's
that
fine. That's fine. If you don't have members, that's fine.
oh, I see.
Yeah,
So
I thought you were talking about board members. I'm sorry.
that's okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
My next question is on the on the virtual address for the you mentioned like family trust and also uh FBO can have the same address. Am I right?
Um, so what I said was best practice is for all three of the entities to have separate information. Sometimes it's not economical. So if it's
Right.
not economical for you to have three different virtual addresses, then you want to have the business address have a separate address from the other entities.
Okay. Say I have the family and the FBO same address. Will that construe as a self-dealing to whoever doing the taxes or the IRS?
Not that you use the same address.
Okay, because if I have the family trust that would be donating or gifting to the FBO, that will also be a tax exempt, right? Even
Correct.
they have the same address.
Yeah, and if you are concerned with self-dealing, then use separate addresses. It should be separate.
Oh, it should be. Oh, I see. Okay. My last question, or yeah, let me go back to my screen here. Yeah, last Monday you mentioned about there's some expenditure, a list of expenditure that is allowable for us to deduct from our operating expense on all three trusts. Is that being provided already, or
So it's on the Form 1041, which is in the resources tab, and then it's inside of the actual trust. So we went over the general administrative expenses. So
oh,
we went over it, and it's on the 1041.
1041? Okay, I'll take a look at that. And lastly, is there a way I can get the information for the CPA, Jeff?
Yes, let me go ahead and provide Jeff's information.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
I'm gonna put it inside
And
the chat.
I guess that's all I have for now. Thank you. Thank you for answering all my questions.
You are so welcome. Thank you as well.
I'll yield.
Okay, awesome. Next we have Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good and yourself.
Wonderful.
The co- um the name of our trust, do we have to check to make sure that it's to see if it's trademarked or not, like the business one?
So generally the names that you decide to use, you can go that far and do it if you want to. But the name that you decide to use is copyright and under common law. So yeah,
Okay. All right, thank you.
you're welcome. Next we have Will 2K.
Good morning again. Thank you so much. The gift that you
Awesome.
are sharing with the team, with the people on this call. A few questions. The first general question I have is typically in a church organization, the pastor would be the trustee.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, like
Okay.
whoever is considered the leader. So you can have those labels. So if you're running it like a church and you have a pastor.
That would be the trustee. Okay. And then with a small organization, the minimum would have to be for it to be a complete structure is three officers, board
Correct.
members.
Correct.
Okay. And then on page 26, it talks about the Article 10, tax non-filing. So my understanding is that I talked to my CPA yesterday, explained that I was going to be taking this course this morning. He was like, that's one of the best advantages, tax strategies, because any donation or any revenue coming into the nonprofit pays no tax.
So you have to be very careful with your documentation. So I wouldn't call it revenue or income. So you have to
Okay.
document it appropriately. You have to document it as a donation, a tithe, a gift. So the verbiage is inside of the trust contract.
So could you kind of give a strategy, a brief scenario strategy of how this structure, the nonprofit would work? So you have a business. What's the advantage of a small structure like this? Is
Oh,
there
well, that's very simple. So if you have an LLC, right? And your LLC, made X amount, like let's just say it made 50,000, right? So you have all of your normal deductions, right? So one of the deductions that you can take advantage of is charitable contributions. So you would do a charitable contribution on the LLC side to a charity of your choice. So that charity of your choice can be your faith-based organization. So you're going to donate whatever desired amount that you want from the LLC to the faith-based organization. The faith-based organization is going to give a donation receipt for that charitable contribution.
Got it. Okay, awesome. And one last question, the very last question on page 45, the Schedule A. What is the Schedule A again? What is that referencing on page?
So that's referencing you documenting the asset that is being placed inside of the organization in order to establish the trust certificate units.
Okay. So it's the asset that, so you will write the asset.
So on the Schedule A, you see we use $1. So what we're saying is,
Okay, I
yeah.
understand. Okay.
So we're saying is that there's an exchange that's happening between the two parties, and that's the initial consideration in order for the trust then to be able to create 100 trust certificate units that are going to be used to represent the beneficial interest.
Awesome. You're great. And then is the email for the back office, where is that? Is that in the emails that you sent to me?
Support at 7waystowealth.com.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you as well. All right, next we have Miss Meredith Rose. How are you? Oh, you're still on mute, my dear.
Hi, I'm a little bit under the weather, so my voice is all crazy, but it's good to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Christina, I'm really learning a lot here, and there's something that kind of tripped me up a couple of months ago. In April, my tax preparer said I had to file a 990 for the FBO. And then she was going to charge me. So I kind of went online to see if I could file it myself. And there's something called a 990N. Anyway, I had questions. So I actually called the IRS. And maybe this is just BS from the IRS, but I called twice just to verify that my ears were hearing, what they said. They asked me each time for the EIN number, and they looked it up and they said, you don't have a nonprofit. You don't have a tax exempt organization. So you don't have to file a 990. And she said, and you can even call your state, the Secretary of State of the state of California, and find out. So after I called back twice and heard the same thing, and these ladies were pretty, they were pretty emphatic. They said, that's beyond our scope, but you don't have a nonprofit. Anyway, I called the state of California Secretary of State, and he looked it up and said the same thing. He said, we've never heard of you. We have nothing on you.
Yes, so Miss Rose, that is absolutely true. So you actually have a you have a private entity. Okay, so nobody knows of the existence of the entity, only you do. Okay.
I see.
So, in order for the Secretary of State to know that your entity exists, you have to register it. So
Right.
that is a decision that you have to make. Now,
Okay.
we have a lot of our members that have decided to go down that route. And the reason that they've decided to go down that route is because they want federal funding, or they want to be able to take public funds, right? And so they have gone down the route of registering with the Secretary of State. So that is something that you would have to do in order for the state to recognize you. They're not going to be able to see you if you're not on the Secretary of State, which means that you're then turning your entity from a non-statutory to a statutory entity, and you're allowing the state of California then to be able to regulate your nonprofit. So you would have to register with the state of California as a nonprofit in order for them to register. I mean, in order for them to be able to acknowledge you. So that is a decision that you have to make, okay?
Right. Now, in the case of the IRS, though, what concerned me, and I just really wanted to get your slant on this, was that, I had given out some donation slips to people. And if they had called the IRS to check on it, they would have been told that it wasn't a nonprofit. So I was really kind of up in the air about how to see this and what to call it. Is it really better to call the FBO a non-revocable trust, or what do you, can you, what's your slant on this?
I always call it a faith-based organization. So that's the verbiage that's inside of it. It's FBO, FBO, FBO. That's like the main umbrella, unless you are going to tailor it into something else.
I see.
So that's why, so it's very broad and it's up to you to make it narrow, right? If you want to turn it into a church, then you are going to turn it into a church. If you wanted to turn it into a ministry, then you're going to turn it into a ministry. But that's what it is.
Okay. You lose the EIN number after 3 years if you don't file a 990. So I didn't file it this year because those women at the IRS said, you don't need it because you're not a nonprofit. So I'm already 1 year down. And if I don't file a 990, as far as the information I was given, I'll lose the EIN. Is that true, or?
So you can always apply for another EIN. So there's no limitation to how many EINs an organization can have.
I see. Okay, but if somebody wanted to donate, if they were going to show on their tax form that they made a charitable donation to me, and then they called to see if it was legit, and they were told by the IRS that it wasn't a nonprofit, that's a problem I just can't get my head around.
Yeah, so I cannot confirm what you're saying because I wasn't on the phone with you
Right,
or with the agent. So like
right.
I don't know what comment I can make based off of what you're saying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I think that I need to file a 990 next year. But it is safe for me to give donation slips out to people.
It is. And I think that based off of what you and your accountant, right, your CPA, what you guys decide is like the best interest of your organization.
Right. I think I'm going to work with Jeff because his team is so wonderful. And the woman she's a tax preparer. She's not even a CPA. So she really knew nothing. She was kind of floundering in it. And that's why I couldn't get any backup from her. But I thank you, Christina. I guess it is safe, though, to give out donation slips for having received a donation.
Yeah, and you have to understand that you are a private organization. So
Right.
if you have that fear that you feel like you're not legit, then you have to go the route of getting registered.
Right. Okay. Do you feel like commenting on whether a person should file with the Secretary of State? There is a link that the guy gave me, and I think for $30 or something like that, you can register. But if there's no real reason to, and then
So I think that it depends on how people operate their organization. So if you want to be more public facing, if you want to
yeah.
take funds from the public, then definitely go down that route. So it sounds like that's the route that you want to go. And we, like I said, we have had several community members that have gone down that road. They have
Uh-huh.
they have Christian schools, right? And
Yeah.
so they went and registered with the Secretary of State. They have land that they're using for retreats. They went and registered with the Secretary of State. So we're not saying that you don't have to. It depends on how you decide to operate.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks a million. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Ms. Rose. Thank you as well. Next, we have Elevate.
Hey, Christina, how you doing?
Wonderful.
Ooh, boy, it was a lot today.
Hi.
So, yeah, definitely. Have one simple question. Well, I don't know if it's simple, but I have a 501(c)(3), right? That I established back in 2016. Understand again, I know that's statutory. However, though, I wanted to see how this can merge because I still wanted to use it, or should I just scrap it and just go with the 508 and just build from here?
So I would never tell anyone to scrap their 501, so it can be used together. So you just want the 508 to be like a member or a some type of owner or have a leadership position inside of the 501.
Well, with the 501(c)(3), there's no owners of a nonprofit. It can
Mm-hmm.
only have board members, so no one can actually own it. So I'm trying to figure out how would I incorporate that.
Yeah, so I just said that. So you want the 508 to have a leadership position in that 501.
So I can put the 508 on the board?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. All right, cool. That's it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
We have Uzi. Uzi, are you there? You're still on mute.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Hey, good to hear from you. Good, great class. Long time no see. But my
Yeah,
one question,
absolutely.
my one question is dealing with pretty much property. If I'm looking to acquire a piece of property for my 508, um, do I utilize myself as the PG, or am I able to utilize the EIN number as the I guess the sole way that I go about acquiring the property to place it in the name of the trust?
So it depends on how you're going to acquire that property. Are you like getting a mortgage or are you paying cash? Because if you're paying cash for the property, then obviously there's no personal guarantor that's needed. But if you're acquiring a mortgage, your 508 has to qualify for a mortgage.
Okay.
So it's the
Now,
same qualification that any other entity would have to go through. So you would have to provide bank statements, tax returns, things like that.
okay.
It
Okay.
depends on the lender.
Okay. So essentially, if like my my entity is not mature yet in the EIN or my EIN with my bank account. So going the route of me being the personal guarantor, would that um, aid in the process, or would that aid in the maturation process for my entity?
Um, Say that again.
As utilizing myself as the personal guarantor, would that aid my entity's maturation process, or should I say better yet, would that help me provide credit basing for my entity, or
It
would that just
depends.
be
So it depends on the lender, right? So if your entity that wants to purchase this property doesn't qualify, then depending on the lender, they'll use you and your personal information and your personal income.
okay? And that will help the credit score, credit rating of the EIN number that I'm using with my entity, correct?
So are you
provided
saying,
things go
are
well.
you saying that are you saying that the entity will be able to then be able to take credit? Or like
Yes,
the
yes,
credit will then be applied to the entity?
yes,
So are you asking if the mortgage is going to show up on the credit report of the 508?
yes.
So it depends on the lender. So if that mortgage is under the lender, then yeah, they should report it. And if they're not reporting it, then you have to contact the bureau so that the bureau can have the proper reporting. But
Okay,
reporting to a bureau is up to the lender.
okay. All right, thank you.
And then some lenders, they don't report to all three. They'll report to one or two. So it's up to the person who's issuing the credit.
Okay. That'll work. I understand. So if the issue of the credit or the lender is not reporting, I can always go to Be Credible to self-report, essentially.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you very much, man. Great job today. Love it.
You're welcome.
Peace and blessings to everybody.
Thank you, Uzi. Next we have Stacy. I don't see Stacy anymore. Okay, next we have Canaglow. That's the only name I see here. Is it Liddell?
Hey, Lydell. How's everybody
Lydell.
doing? All right.
Hi, Lydell.
How are you? How's everybody?
Wonderful.
Awesome. Good to hear. My question is, trying to find somebody reputable to be an officer within the contract. So I was just wondering if you know of any professionals who might be able to hold down that position in case I can't find anybody that I could trust to do the work.
We have a volunteer list of the people in our community that have volunteered to serve as officers. So I would tell you to go to that list first. So you should
Okay.
have received it in your email. If you haven't received it yet, you'll probably get it in the next day or two, but you'll get it within the workshop.
Awesome. That's it so
All
far.
right.
All right. Thanks a lot. Everybody have a
You're
great day.
welcome. All right.
Thanks.
Next we have Marilee.
Hi.
How are you, Marilee?
Okay. Still processing. This question goes way back to the beginning. I want to ask what the value of a TCU is. Is that set or is that arbitrary?
Oh, so the TCU depends on the value of the organization. So if the organization is worth $100,000 and you have 100 TCUs, then you have one TCU that's valued at $1,000.
Okay. So it's the value of the organization that determines the TCUs.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I have today.
You're welcome, Marilee. Thank you for asking that good
welcome.
question. Next, we have Denise.
Hey, Christina, thank you so much for all that you're doing for us. The first 2 days I was going real good, but today that was a lot.
I know.
But I appreciate it. So I just had a quick question in regards to something you said earlier that made me want to ask: can the grantor and the trustee be related?
Oh, that's a good question. So, the verbiage inside of the trust, right, is that they should not be related. So, you should use someone who is not blood related to you.
Okay. So that's just narrowing down who I can actually use for this as the grantor. But the guy just said something about you got volunteer list for us if we need it.
Uh-huh, we do.
Okay, all right. So I'll be on the lookout for that. And then I wanted to ask, will all of the trust EINs be set up like the same way, just like you showed us? It's all for
No,
banking purposes?
no.
Mhm.
So yes, so all of the EINs are for banking purposes, but the application doesn't ask you that when you're applying as a trust.
Okay, when you're applying for as a trust.
Yeah, so the application process that we went through today is very different from the application process that we're going to go through tomorrow.
Okay, so you're going to show us that tomorrow. Oh, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how to apply for an EIN for all three. So today we just did 508, tomorrow we're doing business, and Friday we're doing family.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And then last question, how can you just kind of give me a quick overview of like how do all three trusts tie together? Because it seems like we have one grantor and then we're the trustee on all of the three different trusts. But is the beneficiary different? Is that how they're all tying together?
So the beneficiary of the business trust is the family trust. The beneficiary of the 508 is the family trust. The beneficiary of the family trust are your inheritors. So those are the people that you want to inherit the assets. So typically
Okay, you said that kind of fast. I didn't get that note that quick. I'm sorry. Okay.
You want me to say it again?
Yeah, just one more time for me and I'll grab it.
Okay, so the beneficiary of the business trust is the family trust. The beneficiary of the 508 is the family trust. The beneficiary of the family trust is your inheritors, which are the people that you want to inherit the assets. So those typically are your children.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. All right, next we have David.
Okay, sorry to jump up here again.
Yeah, after that we have AULP47. I'm not sure whose email that is. And then we're gonna end it for today, you guys. Yes, Mr. David.
Okay, to piggyback off of Lydell and Denise's question, reference the volunteer list. I also noticed on the volunteer list that people volunteered to be grantors. So if I'm in the state of Illinois and there's a grantor in another state, how does that work like uh with the acknowledgement?
With the
Yeah, the
note,
notary.
yeah, so you're gonna have to send them the signature pages. They're gonna
Right.
have to get their signature notarized, and then you'll get your signature notarized. So if it is in two different states and counties, then you want to create two acknowledgement sections, one for them, one for you.
Okay. So you mean two separate documents
No,
or
not
just two separate pages?
no. So two notary sections.
Oh,
One
two notary sections.
one for them and
Okay,
one for you.
I got you. Now, what if, just, what if one of the notaries on the volunteer list? So, like, the grantor would send it to them, and then I would send it to them.
Correct, or you can just send it to them.
Okay,
So, yeah. So you can send it to the notary and then they'll get the grantor signature, they'll get your signature, and then they'll send you the original with the wet ink signatures on it.
gotcha. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Next we have aulpay47@gmail.com.
What's up, Christina? How you doing?
Wonderful. How are you? What's your name?
My name is Paul Pagun.
Paul?
Yes, Pagun.
Okay, hi Paul.
How you doing? Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Explain everything thoroughly. My question is can a trust open an EIN for another trust?
So you have to, so when you're applying for an EIN, they want a social security or they want a tax ID number. They don't want an EIN to apply for another EIN.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next we have Paul Yeezy.
Hey, how you doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I just had a quick question about the SS4 that you sent with the email about the 98 number.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we can get this 9-8 number, create like an express trust and do a 8832 for the FBO. You
So
understand what I'm saying?
the 98 number is if you have a grantor that doesn't have a social security, because they're not like US based.
Mhm.
So you can use the 98 number for that. You have to qualify. So if you read in the instructions, you see that the address of the trust has to be outside of the United States.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with it.
All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Thank you. Next we have Nakinji.
Hi,
Hey, Nakinji.
I wanted to, well, somebody else's question got me getting another question. What's the big difference between a tax ID number and a social security number?
It depends on the person, right? So a social security number is for someone who is born in the United States or who's naturalized here. A tax ID number is for someone who is not.
Okay.
Thank you.
And okay, and as far as the faith-based organization, because my understanding is I could do that with education as well. It doesn't have to be like religion, right?
That's correct.
And so how exactly does that set up versus how this is set up?
You have to set it up. So some of our people, they have schools. So you have to set it, you have to customize it that way to where it's education based.
Okay, because my goal is to write a book, and so I figured that would be educational. And
It is.
so having my book available by donation is how that would work.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna get more into the videos and hopefully figure everything out.
Sounds good, my dear. All
Thank you.
right. So we're wrapping it up for today, you guys. So we are all done with setting up all three of our trusts. So Monday we did our business trust. Tuesday we did our family trust. Today we did our tax exempt faith-based organization. So your homework is for you to post inside of the Facebook group and the Telegram chat. Let us know when you're going to finalize your trust, when you're going to get it notarized so that we're able to hold you accountable. So here, I hold you accountable, my team holds you accountable, and then your fellow other community members hold you accountable as well. So let us know when you are, finalizing your trust documents. The next thing is that on Thursday and Friday, we're going to apply for our EINs for our business trust and our family trust. So the responsible party is the grantor. So you're going to have the grantor's personal information, or you're going to have to invite them so that they see the process that they have to take so that they can apply for the EIN for you. So the only thing that's required from the grantor is their first name, their last name, and their social security number. The last thing is to also continue to finalize your asset inventory list, because we are going to be going through transferring assets on Friday. So tomorrow we are going to be focused on applying for the EIN for our business trust. We're going to go through the templates of having a board meeting. We're going to go through banking procedures, and we're going to go through the promissory note and how to fund how much you're going to the promissory notes to document how much you're going to fund the trust with. And then we have a guest speaker, which is our educator, that's going to come and teach you about business credit, business funding, so that you're able to leverage OPM and get the funds that you need for the trust. Okay. So you're going to receive an email 1 hour before our Zoom call, and it's going to have the Zoom link as well as the templates and resources that you're going to need for tomorrow. So I will see you here on Zoom tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So everyone have a blessed and amazing and highly favored day, and I will see you guys here tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
everything.
Bye.
Thank you.
Session.
Bye.
You.
You're welcome.